Hello everyone and welcome back. Today in the second update video in the pre-beta we're going to go over classes. Now I know a lot of people are familiar with kits, so what's the difference between a kit and a class? And the classes use abilities, so you can move around or gain buffs or whatever, and any other class can't use the buffs that belong to any other class. I'm going to be doing a video on what we have in the game so far, not to mention any of the stuff we have in progress or in development, or at least written down that we want to do. For those, I'll be making individual update videos as they are released. But for now, I want to show you everything that's in the game if you're more interested in it. If you are interested in the game, you can go ahead and pre-order the beta access at store.noctas.net. And let's get right in the video. Okay, so the first class I need to show you is Captain, and Captain is a good place to start. It features one of our most prominent mechanics in this game, which is rod fixing. So in Minecraft, you can just spam your rod, and you can do a rod trick, so it never actually takes away durability. But in this game, the only way to decrease your durability is by hitting another player. So you can do literally anything else. Your durability won't go down. You can fish, etc. But as soon as I hit another player, it goes down a durability. Okay, you can also sit in a boat. The boat is one shot, so if the person in the boat takes any sort of damage, they will be exited from the boat. Okay, so Miner is the next class, and at 3-star, it gets an Unbreakable Helmet. I think it also gets the Unbreakable Helmet at 1-star. But at 3-star, it gets that Prot 1, Fortune 1 Diamond Pickaxe, and a Silk Touch. So typically with your Silk Touch, you want to go get like coal ore, or lapis, or something that's not too useful, just so you can use it in the middle of the fight, because your other ability is, well, at 3-star, you get a 45% chance to have either Speed 2 or Regen 1 for 10 seconds, and that's 50-50 either way. So that'd be like 45 divided by 2 is, the chance for either Speed 2 or Regen 1. So if I mine here, I just got Speed 2, so I can get Regen. There, I got Regen. But most of the time, statistically, most of the time, I won't get a buff. But for the Silk Touch, you want to go ahead and grab it so that you can use it in the middle of a fight. You can also do it to do some like Bed Wars tricks. If someone's running at you, place the block and then fight them above the block. Something like that. Then you can use it for a buff. That's how I use it sometimes. Or you can like block off the point on one side. So if I had my 6, I could put it there, and you would have to like jump around, which would cause them to get in the air, let you get a combo. And yeah, that's Miner, so pretty good. Alright, so next is Rabbit. A rabbit's presence will cause the user to gain jump boost 2 indefinitely until it is killed. If the user feeds a carrot to a rabbit, they will receive speed 2 for 8 seconds. We're going to add in a noise there a little bit. Probably like a high-pitched like eating sound. And if we go over here with our jump boost, we do 115% crit damage, and we'll get that little anvil noise every time we hit a player. In terms of strategy, Rabbit's pretty good on hills, in open spaces, and in caves. I would say its biggest weakness is running away, because you can actually catch up to people if they're not jumping with speed 1. So it actually, if you want to catch someone, don't kill the rabbit. Lumberjack also addresses a fundamental mechanic of Noctas. The mechanic is that when you break a log, you get a stick, right? But if you are a Lumberjack, you get 2 sticks. Okay, so that means you collect sticks twice as fast. Now, if I sit here and get 54 sticks, which shouldn't take that long. By the way, Lumberjack has a, let me find the percent, 30% chance at tier 3 to get resistance 1 for 10 seconds after you break a log. Let me just get this craftable chain armor here. Typically, if you start at the beginning of the game with any level of Lumberjack, you'll be able to get the armor like plenty of time before PvP. So we try to make that work so you don't get jumped. I just got to find a crafting table here. So 54 sticks will be enough to give you 6 sets of 9 sticks, which should give you 24 chain links. And 24 chain links is enough to make some custom chain armor that we have with Prot 2. And this armor is pretty much good with any Lumberjack. So if you get that set up, that means you have a sharp 1 diamond axe with this armor, and you can call resistance. So very good late game, but it's kind of hard to start. So okay, the next class is Turtle. So Turtle gets you pretty much set up in the weapon and gear department. You have Depth Strider too, so obviously you want to try to draw people into water or put them in compromising situations, especially good against Nether Mage. So this potion gives you resistance on a splash potion, but it also gives you slowness, so you sort of like harden a little bit like a turtle would. That's sort of my thinking. The slowness also doesn't affect you in the water, so if you're in the water, it might as well just be a splashable resistance potion for 12 seconds, so even a better reason to force water fights. And the turtle's passive ability is that I made my ult go turtle as well, so we can just teleport over there. So let's do it with an iron sword, no crits. Okay, so now they're at 5 hearts. Should survive that because the turtle, it did inconsistent damage. You took 20% less damage if you're under 4 hearts. I can demonstrate on the other account here. It saved me 1 time here. Okay. So this is about 4 hearts. And right now their health is barely going down. If I go back to my other screen, you can see how much I've been triggered under 4 hearts. So every time I had 20% protection. Alright, so now I'm going to show you Shepherd. So Shepherd has a lot of, I would say like idiosyncratic elements. It's like not the same as any other class that I've designed. So first things first, when PvP is enabled, I recommend drinking your health boost potion. That'll give you weakness for a minute at 3-star. I think it's weakness 2 for 2 minutes. Yeah, weakness 2 for 2 minutes at first, so you really want to not take fights in that 2 minutes, but then you get that health boost afterwards, which could help you win. So I would drink that. I'm going to have weakness and health boost, which means it takes away a fixed amount of damage every time I try to deal damage. Okay? So then you're left with your sheep. Now, your sheep do a little bit of custom regen. So normal vanilla regen does... I need a TP regroup type. Normal vanilla regen does like a half heart every 2.5 seconds. So if I do a little bit of damage here. Okay. I'm going to put down my sheep spawn egg. And so basically we fix that by giving it a half heart of instant health every couple of seconds. So for 1-star, it's a half heart every 5 seconds, and for 2 and 3-star, it's every 4 seconds. So it isn't broken. Because before people were playing Shepherd and they just wouldn't die. The last element to Shepherd, and I got to do this again by dealing damage because it's a healing class. I'm gonna get very low on this account, and now I will drink the pink potion. So the pink potion is going to heal me all the way up to full, but the trade-off is I can't deal any damage at all. No damage is being done. That's because we have mining fatigue, and basically what the mining fatigue does on the pink pot is listens for the mining fatigue and then cancels all the damage that you do. So before, people were drinking the pink pot and then fighting with it, they would win with it, and that's not necessarily what I intended. With sheep, you're supposed to not take fights and heal. That's the whole sort of concept behind the class. Is supposed to be kind of like sheepish and take your fights very selectively and stall a lot of time to heal. So that's what Shepherd's for, if you didn't know. All right, the next class is Nether Mage. You can see in the top left that I have permanent fire resistance, and that is a function of the class. If I jump into water, though, I'll have Wither 2 indefinitely until I just get out of the water, then it'll go away. So, being immune to fire, you got to do something with it, right? So, while you're on fire, you deal an extra 10% damage. That's 110% damage. Vanilla strength is 135, just for scale. So it makes a little bit of a difference in fights, but your fire obviously expires at some point. So then you run out of it. You can also Molotov yourself to get on fire, and anyway, lava, flint and steel, all of it will give you that 10% bonus. Now, typically I just use the Molotov as a debuff. Just throw it at someone in the middle of the fight. They'll take 4 ticks of damage. Not too long, not too short. I think that's pretty much perfect. Next up is Robinhood. This class does 60% of the damage of a vanilla boat. Every time you land an arrow, you get an arrow back. So I can shoot one on the ground. 4. Then I shoot, land, and I'm back to 4. And you can actually recover the arrow from a player after they've been hit by one. So actually, it doesn't affect the arrow economy in the game whatsoever. So that would be like if you could shoot someone and then recover the arrow, then I would have 8. So by shooting them, I would start with more. That's just not how the math in Minecraft works. So we worked with that in order to make a cool little ability that returns an arrow every time you hit one. Okay, other than that, it gets some projectile protection armor, and at every level, it scales down a little lunge ability. So if you jump and left click with the boat, you'll be sent on a little lunge. So at 3-star, that's an 8-second cooldown. 2-star, that's a 10-second cooldown. And at 1-star, it's a 12-second cooldown. Very good for mobility, getting away, chasing someone, looting. I mean, and it's just fun to do. I mean, how could you not like using Robinhood just for that? One thing I forgot to mention is the fact that you cannot pick up bows out of chests or craft them as Robinhood. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Eternal classes, so last 3 here. The first one is Bomber, and I don't know if I said earlier if Captain was the first class ever created. It's definitely Bomber. I remember Connor and I just sitting in like this new, well, he was sitting on his like local server just like testing out some plugins. I'm like, and then we came up with this idea of like throwing TNT and exploding, but you could also use it as a movement ability, so here that is. Okay, so that right there, by the way, was an example of a bomber direct hit. 99% of the time, you'll never hit that, and they'll just go off to the side a little bit, and that damage is mostly caused by the fact that that was a naked player. Okay, I won't do it. I gotta show you the rest of the movement stuff. You think I was just gonna own them on the first time? Okay, so there's a couple different movement techs you can do with Bomber. If you need to get up to a high place, you can miss like that. I'm not really that good at it because that's a new tech that we just added. So I've seen some people that are like okay at it so far, but I just can't seem to figure it out. The most common tech, however, is the horizontal movement, where you can bounce yourself back across a large expanse to catch up to players, to run away from people. It also deals damage when you place the movement ability. So I actually made a little bit of a video about Clown in one of my Let's Plays, but I'm going to include it here since I said I was doing all the classes. Basically, Clown, you get these eggs and you can throw them on the ground, and wherever the egg lands, a random thing will happen. So you can get like lightning, you can get an explosion, you can get a mob spawn, and you can get item drops. And those items can be useless or they can be really good. You can also deal knockback damage with them, and I can't show you that until PvP is enabled. Mystery buffs, mystery debuffs. I think we might change the color of these in the future, but the debuffs choose from a pool of 3 debuffs, so that's like poison, slowness, nausea, and then the mystery buffs choose from 3 different buffs, so you get regen, absorption, or fire resistance. You can also deal damage with them, do a combo. I just rolled another egg there. But yeah, I think this class is really fun. You also can't take off the armor, and it is 55% armor reduction constant. So any protection you see here is just sort of like simulated to give you an idea of how much it would protect you on average, but we have overwritten that code to always protect at 55% with this armor. The final class that we have for you in this current patch of the game is Frankenstein. And Frankenstein, I would say use Frankenstein when there's like a low player count. But basically, you spawn this iron golem, and every 6 seconds he's gonna drop iron. So think of it like the Bed Wars, like whatever you call the machine that gives you, I don't remember what it's called. Generator, I think is the name. Yeah, Bed Wars generator. And you have these poppies. So every time you right click with a poppy, it'll teleport to your location. And it will target the nearest enemy. And I think Connor might have put radius on here. Get it. Okay, so it'll target the nearest player within a 10 block radius. And you can... And the monster gets reassigned if it's hit by another player. So if I tell the monster to target the alt, and I'm within 10 blocks, I can right click and we'll start walking at him. Now, he moves really slowly to avoid him having a major impact, but he deals a pretty good amount of damage, and he serves up the enemy for a good combo. Obviously, this is good if you're in a combo. Teleport in the middle of the fight and allow him to get that hit in. Pretty good. And the reason I would say use it in a low player game is just because someone might find him and kill him and you won't know about it. So we're not going to babysit you in this game and tell you like how much your golem has. You just have to place it and make sure that you're farming off of him correctly and defending him correctly. In the future, we might add health display, but right now we really don't see the use for it. And I don't know. I feel like Frankenstein is good if used correctly, but if Frankenstein becomes bad, then we might have to look into a potential buff in seeing his health pool. But those are all the classes. I hope you guys get a little bit more, are now a little bit more informed about Noctis if you were confused. If you want me to do tutorials about Noctis, I could do it in all other areas of the game. Leave comments if you want to know something about the game, if you're confused about certain aspects of the game that I need to clarify. I mean, that's how the game gets better. So if I can clarify it to you and I see a problem in my explanation, I can work to fix it. So big thanks to Connor, obviously, who works with me every day to make these classes in this game really awesome. July 18th is the closed beta. If you would like to participate, you can pre-order that whitelist now for $3 on store.noctas.net. But until next time, I will see you guys later.